I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I just think it is really weird when parents tell me they bathe their children every day. This is my daughter's room. Look at this.
If you've spent more than 5 minutes on TikTok's rage bait side, chances are you've already stumbled across Mama C, or at least one of her clips stitched, duetted, or angrily reposted by someone who couldn't believe what they were hearing. Mama C is a TikToker and a mother of 6 whose entire online presence seems engineered for one thing and one thing only: outrage. Her content isn't subtle because she openly boasts about behavior that most parents would never admit to online, let alone monetize. According to her own videos, she bathes her children only once a week, frequently refers to them as brats, and has claimed that she takes her oldest daughter's paycheck to help pay household bills. Mama C has repeatedly claimed that she receives thousands of dollars in government assistance, disability checks, food stamps, and other benefits, at one point stating that she brings in over $10,000 a month through social programs alone. But despite people calling her out for literally scamming the government, she just refuses to get work, insisting that it's not her responsibility to provide for her family, but the responsibility of US taxpayers. And she doesn't just say this defensively, she says it proudly, daring viewers to argue with her. Then there's the attention seeking. Whenever another creator goes viral for helping a struggling family or feeding someone in need, Mama C has a pattern of inserting herself into the narrative, claiming she's part of that family, or accusing the creator of lying about their charity. She's done this multiple times, each incident conveniently resulting in more views, more stitches, and more engagement. And perhaps the most disturbing part of all, her children are often right there in the videos. They're literally dragged into content that many viewers find unsettling, humiliating, and deeply unfair. So today we're breaking down Mama C's online persona, her repeated claims, her rage bait tactics, and the very real ethical questions surrounding the way she uses both social media and her kids for attention. Because at some point, rage bait stops being just content and starts revealing something much darker underneath. So Mama C, also known as Mama Courtney, is a TikToker who blew up on the platform nearly a year ago, primarily due to her rage bait content. Because she lies so consistently and so boldly about almost every aspect of her life, there is very little verified personal information available about her. What generally is known based on her own repeated claims is that she has around 6 children with 4 different fathers, does not work, and openly states that she lives entirely off social benefits. As of right now, Courtney appears desperate to go viral, and she's doing absolutely everything in her power to make that happen. She currently has over 500,000 followers on TikTok, where she posts rage bait content almost every single day. Her videos are designed to provoke outrage, spark arguments, and pull people into her comment sections, whether they believe her or not. So what kind of rage bait content are we actually talking about here? Well, buckle up. Take, for instance, one of her more bizarre viral videos, where she claims that her daughter, who appears to be around 7 years old, was switched at the hospital after birth. According to Courtney, the hospital supposedly contacted her years later to inform her that another couple had apparently taken a paternity test and discovered they were raising Courtney's biological child. Yes, that is the story she presented to hundreds of thousands of viewers, completely straight-faced.
The hospital that I delivered my daughter at 7 years ago just called me, telling me that they need me to come in right away. First thing tomorrow morning, we have a meeting. 7 years ago, I gave birth to my daughter on September 29th, 2017. The parents of another little girl, also born that day, same time in the room right next to me. The parents, or the mother, is going through a child custody court with the father. They had to do a DNA test. DNA test comes back, the mother is not the mother. The hospital calls me, telling me that our daughters were switched at birth. That we both delivered our daughters at the same time. They were in the same nursery together. To that point. I have to go to the hospital tomorrow morning. 7 years? 7 years. The hospital switched our little girls. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do.
That's something I can understand.
If this is true, what do we do? I mean, my daughter, I'm not giving her up. 7 years. Well, this is a lawsuit, okay? So if this did happen and we just become millionaires, I guess follow for part 2, because I won't know until tomorrow. I am in.
Needless to say, most people did not buy it. The comment section did not spare her even a little, with viewers immediately pointing out inconsistencies, implausibilities, and outright holes in her story. But what's particularly interesting here is that throughout this entire saga, you can clearly see Courtney doing something she does often, lifting other people's viral stories almost word for word and inserting herself directly into the narrative to chase engagement. In fact, there was a highly publicized viral story back in 2023 about a baby being switched at the hospital, with the truth coming out 5 years later after a paternity test. The similarities between that real case and Courtney's TikTok story are hard to ignore. It's painfully obvious where the inspiration came from. And this wasn't a one-off. Courtney also attempted to hijack another viral moment involving a TikToker who claimed she was suing her parents for giving birth to her without her consent. That video circulated widely as satire and rage bait, and instead of reacting to it like a normal viewer, Courtney decided to insert herself into the story once again. She uploaded a TikTok claiming that she was actually the viral girl who had sued her parents for bringing her into the world.
Yes, I am the girl going viral because I am suing my parents for $500,000 for me being born. Yes, I am 35 years old. And when my mother gave birth to me, when her and my father got pregnant with me, they didn't try to contact me before being born to ask me if I actually wanted to be here. Like, when I was born, I didn't realize I was going to have to, grow up, work, pay my own bills, all these things.
Yes, she quite literally claimed to be the person from that viral story. This is Courtney's entire playbook. She rage baits people relentlessly and doesn't even attempt to be original about it. Most of the stories she tells on TikTok are either blatantly borrowed from other rage bait creators or completely fabricated by her own imagination. There's no creativity, no nuance, just shock value recycled over and over again. More recently, Courtney went after another creator named Sasha, who went viral after posting a wholesome video about a neighborhood girl knocking on her door and asking to join her family for dinner. The creator welcomed the child, fed her, and spent time with her alongside her own kids, and the video resonated deeply with viewers across the platform. Naturally, Courtney couldn't let that moment exist without inserting herself into it. She uploaded a video claiming that she was the mother of the girl who knocked on Sasha's door, alleged that her daughter didn't go there willingly, and implying that the entire situation was misrepresented.
Okay, yes, I am a mother whose daughter knocked on her neighbor's door. I am a mother whose daughter knocked on her neighbor's door, asking the neighbor to invite her to dinner because she hadn't been fed and was hungry, and that her mom wouldn't allow her to go to anybody's house and eat unless she was invited. I am that mom, okay? The creator has now went viral with her video talking about this whole situation. She's telling everybody that she is paying, she's helping me. She's paying for my utilities. She's helping me get on welfare. All these things lie. All lies. That is not what happened. That is not what happened at all. This woman brought it upon herself to bathe my child without permission. There was no inviting her to dinner. Okay, my child didn't go over there, knock on the door, and ask to be invited for dinner. Okay, my kids have food. That isn't the case at all. So, if you see this video, you need to take yours down before I tell what really happened. I'm not playing anymore. because now you're dragging my name through the freaking mud, making me look like this crazy mother that doesn't take care of her kids.
Of course, none of this was supported by evidence. It was nothing more than a transparent attempt to discredit another creator's story and ride the wave of someone else's viral success. Some creators on the platform have clearly noticed this pattern in Courtney's content and have openly called her out for her blatant lies. One creator in particular made an entire video breaking down how Courtney was fabricating stories about that viral video, despite the fact that this woman was simply trying to help a struggling family in her neighborhood. Instead of acknowledging the generosity, Courtney chose to discredit her, accusing her of being a fraud and implying that her viral act of kindness was staged. There was no proof to back up these claims whatsoever, yet Courtney spread them anyway, knowing full well the kind of backlash and harassment such accusations can cause.
This creator, I will tag her down below, recently had some videos that went very viral because one of her daughter's friends that lives in their neighborhood is really struggling with basic necessities and her family is in need. Those videos went viral and this mother is actually helping that child's mother because their family is really struggling right now. Mama C has taken it upon herself multiple times to create rage bait content claiming to be that little girl's mother. Except this most recent time, she took it a step further, again claiming to be that little girl's mother, telling people that that original creator is scamming and that people should go report her account for fraud. So she's basically lying to create this fake story so that she can make money.
What bothers us the most is that Courtney doesn't just lie in a vacuum. She repeatedly drags real, identifiable people into her fabricated narratives, often without their consent. She's done this far too many times, and each time, the consequences could be very real for the people she targets. One particularly unhinged example was when Courtney claimed that Drew Jenkins, from the Resilient Jenkins family, had gotten her pregnant, a statement that makes absolutely no sense and was never supported by any evidence or prior connection.
This message is for Stephanie Jenkins. As everybody knows, Drew left Stephanie. I am the reason he left. As you can see, we are expecting, okay, this baby is coming in 2 months. Less than 2 months, okay? Stephanie, I would stop the crying and get your big girl panties on because Drew is not coming back to you, okay? Drew is happy with me now, and we are starting our family together, okay? I just sent him money for a bus ticket.
But even that wasn't the lowest point. More recently, Courtney crossed a line that shocked a massive portion of the TikTok community. In late May, many people are grieving the tragic death of OK Baby, a beloved 2-year-old who passed away in a devastating car accident that also left both of his parents seriously injured. The story deeply affected viewers across the platform, and most people responded with empathy, compassion, and respect for the grieving family. Courtney, however, saw an opportunity. In the aftermath of this tragedy, she began posting long, inflammatory statements on TikTok, attempting to rage bait viewers by placing blame on the child's father. She claimed, without evidence, that the baby died because her parents were fighting during the car ride. She went as far as saying that there were witnesses to support this supposed argument, a claim that was never substantiated and directly contradicts publicly available information. She didn't stop there. Courtney expressed in one of her videos that the father should be criminally charged, alleging that he intentionally slammed the car into a tree. She also accused the child's mother of faking her grief and remorse over the death of her own child. These were not vague insinuations. They were direct, explicit accusations made to a large audience during an already heartbreaking time.
But it doesn't stop there because she recently made this post about OK Baby, who recently just passed away. And if you guys aren't familiar, it's a family on this app who recently got into a car accident and their very young son passed. She posts this. So is Preston's dad going to be criminally charged for causing the accident? There are now claims that he was in a rage and drove into the tree on purpose. Are you joking? This isn't true. She's making this all up for rage bait. Her original account with over 200,000 followers was removed, but she just posted that on her backup account. If you want to post rage bait content, fine, have at it, but don't involve real people and make up fake things about real people.
Now, let's be clear. We understand that Courtney is a rage baiter. In fact, she has openly embraced that label herself, proudly displaying it in her bio as if it's some kind of badge of honor. And many rational people online agree that the best way to deal with rage baiters is to ignore them. to avoid feeding their desire for attention, engagement, and ultimately money. But content like this is exactly why ignoring someone like Courtney isn't always that simple. What she says online isn't harmless. Her words carry weight, especially when they're being consumed by thousands of people who may not know the full context of the situation she's talking about. Among those viewers, there are inevitably people who don't know what truly happened to that little girl and her family, and who may take Courtney's version of events at face value. There are also viewers who may believe her false claims about other creators. That's why exposing rage baiters like Courtney matters. Not because they're annoying, but because misinformation, when repeated loudly and often enough, can cause real harm. Allowing creators like her to continue unchecked only ensures that more people are misled, targeted, and exploited for clicks. And speaking of exploitation, Courtney's negative influence doesn't stop with other creators. It extends directly into her own home. One of the most disturbing aspects of her content is the constant, shameless involvement of her children in her elaborate lies. She regularly inserts them into the narrative she spins online, using them as props for outrage. One of the most glaring examples of this behavior is a video where she refers to her own daughters as brats, accusing them of being disrespectful and blaming them for destroying a room. In that video, she shows viewers a room filled with clutter and junk, visibly disheveled and chaotic, and places the blame squarely on her children, broadcasting their supposed misbehavior to hundreds of thousands of strangers online. And that alone should make anyone uncomfortable.
How do they expect us to get these things done if you can't pay for it with your food stamps? Government, thank you once again. You're not gonna freaking believe this. This is my daughter's room. Look at this. She freaking destroyed it. Destroyed it. She had 3 of the little neighborhood kids over here. Look at the bed. It's not even put together. Rylan.
What?
What did you do to this bedroom?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
It was my sister.
Why is it destroyed?
After watching that video, viewers were quick to point out something Courtney clearly didn't expect. In one of her earlier uploads, she had shown this exact same room to her audience and described it as a storage space. Back then, it wasn't framed as a disaster caused by disrespectful children. It was simply a cluttered storage room. This immediately exposed yet another inconsistency in her storytelling. What makes the situation even more heartbreaking is that she involved her children in this lie, encouraging them to play along with her narrative. These kids have no real understanding of what their mother's doing online, yet they're being pulled into her fabricated stories for clicks and engagement. There's another video where Courtney tells her audience that she didn't allow one of her daughters to go to Disneyland. According to her, the child's father, who is not the father of her own children, refused to pay for all of Courtney's kids to attend the trip. So instead of allowing her daughter to go with her own father, Courtney claimed she shut the entire thing down.
Daughter was invited to Disneyland by her dad's side of the family, and I am not allowing her to go unless the rest of the kids are invited. I have 6 kids total, so she has 5 sisters and brothers, ranging from 15 to 1. I am not going to allow one child to go to Disneyland. Every kid's dream is Disneyland. How would you feel as a child if you had sisters and brothers and one of your sisters was invited to Disneyland? You were watching them pack. You were watching them shop, for clothes for the trip. You were watching her leave for Disneyland with her Mickey Mouse ears. You would feel horrible, wouldn't you? Yes, I'm not going to allow one of my children to go to Disneyland if the other 5 can't go. No, he is not their biological father, but he was their stepfather at one time. And I have already offered to pay for half. I've already offered to pay for half. He just has to take them along with him. There's a bunch of adults going. There's no reason why they can't take 5 more kids. And I need a freaking break. I need a spring break.
That's all there is to it.
Once again, this screams rage bait because the story doesn't make sense no matter how you look at it. The idea that a father can afford to take his own child to Disneyland but somehow refuses to cover basic necessities for her raises obvious questions. If he has the means to fund an expensive trip like that, why isn't he paying child support? Why isn't Courtney pursuing that through the proper legal channels if the story's even remotely true? This single claim alone tells us a lot about how much she exaggerates, or outright lies, about her financial situation online. She consistently manufactures scenarios that make it appear as though she's gaming the system, not because it's true, but because it gets people talking. Outrage fuels her engagement, and engagement is exactly what she's chasing. Another example of this behavior comes from a video where Courtney claimed that her daughter, who is barely 15 years old, had gotten a job. According to Courtney, she took her daughter's very first paycheck against her will to pay household bills. She went even further, stating that her daughter was unhappy about this and that Courtney had threatened her with an ultimatum: either quit the job or leave the house if she didn't want to financially support her mother.
My daughter got her first paycheck today. She's been working at McDonald's for over a month now. But as you know, with your first job, they hold a check, okay? So it's been a little over 3 weeks that she's been waiting for this check, okay? It is only a 1-week check, okay? 22 hours, but she was super excited. We get to the bank. I have to show my ID to get her on my bank account. I told her she needed to sign it over to me. We cashed it. I put the cash in my wallet, and I told her how much I appreciate it and how much this is really going to help towards the bills. She looked at me and she's like, "Mom, that's my money. What are you doing?" I said, "Honey, this has to go towards rent. You knew this. That is the whole reason you got this job, is to help Mom out." She actually thought her check was going to her. $220 she thought she was going to get to spend whatever, Lululemon, I don't know, she actually wanted. So she calls her dad. Her dad calls me. He starts screaming at me, telling me it's illegal to take her check. First of all, you live under my roof. I am the adult. I am your mother. Nothing I do when it comes to you is illegal. You live under my roof. I am the adult. I am your mother. Nothing I do when it comes to you is illegal. So that if she's not going to get any of her paychecks, she's going to quit her job or move out. Sweetheart, you're not even 16. First of all, you know you're not leaving my house, and your paychecks will be coming to me. I will rip.
What makes Courtney's case even worse is that she has absolutely lied about CPS visiting her home. In one instance, she claimed that her children are trained on how to answer CPS workers. In another video, she went even further, alleging that her youngest daughter told CPS the truth, whatever that was, and as a result, Courtney said she took away her devices and removed her bedroom door as punishment to teach her a lesson.
My kids are trained to talk to CPS, okay? We rehearse multiple times a day if CPS ever shows up, what they are supposed to say. Well, CPS showed up to our house last night for a TikTok video that was disturbing, worrisome, from back in November that had already been dealt with. Anyways, they show up. Obviously, they went and talked to all the kids, all 6 kids. All 5 kids said what they are supposed to, except my one daughter. My one daughter decided to tell them the truth. The truth. So I took her phone away. Her phone was taken. Her tablet was taken, and I took her bedroom door off the hinges last night. Well, somehow she does it on her computer. I didn't even know that you could do this. Call 911. Call 911 to tell them that her mother is being mean to her and disciplining her because for no reason. That's what she told them. No, there was a reason. There was a couple reasons, actually. So they show up to my house. Guess what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens because I am the mother. This generation is so entitled. It just blows my mind. And this is why kids are doing the things they are doing. It's because there is no discipline.
At this point, we don't genuinely believe that she treats her children in this way. But that doesn't make the situation any less concerning. If these stories are fabricated purely to go viral, then that raises serious questions about her mental state and judgment. Saying things like this online, even as rage bait, normalizes disturbing behavior and invites scrutiny that no child should be subjected to. There's also a video where Courtney claimed she refused to pick her daughter up from a sleepover at 2 a.m. because the other family had an emergency. According to her, if someone invites her child over for a sleepover, that family is responsible for her child until morning, no exceptions.
Yes, I am the mother who refused to pick up her daughter from a sleepover because her friend's family had an emergency. I will say this again. If you are a parent and your child invites my child for a sleepover overnight, that means you, the parent of that child, are responsible for my child until the next morning or until the agreed upon time for pickup. Do not call me in the middle of the night because you can't do your job as a parent. Do not call me at 2 o'clock in the morning to come get my daughter because you are a shitty parent. Period. And I will say it again and again and again. Won't happen. Not on my watch.
If you found this video disturbing, unfortunately there's more. Courtney doesn't limit her lies and shock tactics to her children, but she also drags her husband into her content. One of the most disturbing videos we came across involved serious allegations about him. In that video, Courtney claimed that her husband named their daughter after an OnlyFans creator named Sophie Rain, and implied that he is attracted to much younger girls despite being in his early 50s. She went even as far as saying that she was considering changing her daughter's name because of it.
My husband literally named our daughter after a OF creator. Now, mind you, I am just finding out about Sophie Rain. Now, when I was pregnant and he brought up the name Sophie Rain, I never asked him where it came from because I thought it was super cute. Sophie Rain, okay? I never once thought about looking the name Sophie Rain up to see who, I just never thought. I just thought maybe it's somebody in his family or he just liked the name. Well, I was just scrolling TikTok and Sophie Rain pops up. And this young girl doing this really cutesy dance. So I do some more digging. I go on my husband's phone. He is subbing to these very inappropriate pictures, okay? Not like so inappropriate, you know what I mean? But inappropriate because he's 53 years old. He's 53 years old. How old is Sophie Rain? 1920? What do I do? Should I be creeped out? Because I am creeped out. I'm gonna go to the courthouse and change my daughter's name now. This is weird. I don't even want to call her Sophie.
These are not small claims. They're deeply serious, damaging statements to make publicly, especially about someone you share children with. Whether true or not, broadcasting accusations like this for views is reckless and harmful. Watching content like this leaves you stunned. Insane is honestly the only word that fits. And yet somehow this still isn't the end of Courtney's online behavior. Because next, we have to talk about her obsession with social benefits. From the very beginning of her social media presence, Courtney has repeatedly claimed that she lives entirely off government assistance. She shares exaggerated, misleading, and often blatantly false information about social benefits. So much so that it's enough to make your blood boil. In one video, she confidently claimed that she used to receive $10,000 a month in benefits. She then went on to say that because people reported her to the relevant agencies, she now receives nothing, and as a result, her husband is supposedly kicking her out.
Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone. Hey, it's Mom.
My husband just told me and my 6 kids have 48 hours, 2 days to get out of his house. We have been together almost 10 years. He told me the only way I can stay is if I get all my welfare benefits back. He said he has stayed with me all these years because the amount of income I have brought in benefits, almost $10,000 a month. That's how much I am worth.
So do we believe she receives food stamps? Possibly. That's not an outrageous claim on its own. But do we believe she was ever receiving $10,000 a month in social benefits? Absolutely not. And once again, this is classic Courtney rage bait. You don't even have to speculate, just look at the comment sections. Viewers are visibly shocked, confused, and arguing with one another over her claims, which is exactly the reaction she wants. There are countless other videos where she spreads outright misinformation. In one, she pretends to be devastated that her EBT card no longer pays for her nail appointments and eyelash extensions. She delivers this as though it's some shocking injustice being done to her.
For anybody that receives food stamps, I just got my nails and lashes and eyebrows done, like I do every single month. You can no longer get these services with your food stamp card, with your EBT card. I have been receiving food stamps for 13 years. For 13 years, every single month, I have been able to pay with these services with my food stamps. No longer can do that. So not only do they take our sugary drinks, our junk food, okay, tobacco and alcohol you can no longer get with your food stamps. Now you can't get your nails done. I had to use cash out of pocket. $110 I just had to spend because I couldn't walk out without paying. And they do the services before you pay. So I was screwed.
Let's be clear, in case anyone is genuinely confused, EBT cards are not meant to pay for nails, lashes, or cosmetic services of any kind. That has never been their purpose. But Courtney knows exactly what she's doing here. By implying that her benefits once covered luxury expenses, she's baiting viewers into asking questions about where their tax dollars are going, and that outrage drives her engagement through the roof. This is her entire strategy. If people won't talk about her naturally, she'll make statements so absurd that they have to respond. She wants people to be angry, confused, and arguing in her comments because every reaction keeps her relevant. Unfortunately, there are plenty more videos where Courtney claims she used to receive enormous sums through social programs and lost them only because people reported her. At one point, she even claimed that food stamps used to cover alcohol and tobacco. That claim alone should tell you everything you need to know about how unreliable her stories are.
Are you kidding?
She did it!
Oh, you're done. You're done. You're grounded.
Hey, for anyone on food stamps, you can no longer buy tobacco or alcohol with your food stamp card. I just went down to the corner store to get my daily tobacco and alcohol order. Went to go swipe my food stamp card, my EBT card, and he looked at me and told me that they took the machines out of the store. So if you know a store where you have been able to get those things with your food stamps, the machines are totally wiped out of those stores. So you can no longer buy those things with your
Food stamps are strictly for food, Courtney, nothing else. Alcohol and tobacco are not food, and they've never been. Over the past couple of months, especially after blowing up on TikTok, Courtney has pushed multiple narratives about her social benefits supposedly being taken away. She's painted this dramatic picture where she was living a comfortable life entirely because of government assistance, something she insists she was fully entitled to, and now because people have allegedly reported her to DHS and other programs, she claims she's on the verge of being arrested or having all her benefits cut off. According to Courtney, this sudden downfall isn't her fault. In her version of events, it's the result of haters and viewers intentionally trying to ruin her life. This storyline has become a recurring theme in her content, and she leans into it heavily to generate sympathy, outrage, and engagement. Many people trace the start of this particular saga back to a video where Courtney claimed she had purchased angel tree gifts for a family in need, only to later find those same gifts listed on Facebook Marketplace. The story was framed as her being taken advantage of while trying to do something kind. However, viewers were quick to poke holes in the narrative. The biggest question raised in the comments was simple. Why would someone who claims to rely entirely on social benefits be buying angel tree gifts for another family? Social assistance is meant to cover basic necessities, not charitable donations. While some commenters criticized her directly, others went a step further and suggested that the entire story was fabricated. Given Courtney's long history of exaggeration and outright fabrication, many viewers found that explanation far more believable. After that, an entirely new chapter opened. Courtney began posting video after video where she complained almost constantly that people were reporting her to food stamp programs and that her benefits were getting canceled. This wasn't a one-off rant or a single emotional upload. It became a recurring theme, showing up in nearly every other video she posted. And unfortunately, it didn't stop there.
So somebody or multiple people have reported me and my husband to food stamps, to Michigan DHS, because we chose a family during Christmas time to get Christmas gifts for, the angel tree. And people on TikTok, because this is the almost only social media platform that I use and that I even posted about the angel tree on, reported to DHS that I am a TikTok creator, like I'm some big influencer, which I am not. I just started this 4 months ago, okay? I just made my first...
What? Say it.
Last month. Like, December 15th was my first check, per se, I guess, if you call it, for TikTok. And it wasn't even more than I would make it, minimum wage, a little bit more. So now I have to send in all my TikTok. Now, they're gonna cut me off.
In one particularly alarming video, Courtney claimed that her 2 youngest children were kicked out of daycare because the daycare center had seen her TikTok videos. According to her, the state had been paying for her children's daycare because she needed to get things done around the house. Let that sink in for a moment. By her own admission, she does not work, has no intention of working, yet still believes the state should cover daycare expenses so she can manage household tasks. Make that make sense.
Oh, my kids just got fired from daycare.
What?
So, since somebody reported me to the state of Michigan Department of Human Services, so now they are investigating my last income for the last 12 months. So my food stamps are on hold, my cash assistance, my disability, my kids' disability. And now the state has put a hold on my kids' daycare being paid for because my kids have been going to daycare so I can get stuff done around the house, because the state pays for that. So now my kids are fired from daycare. Not only that, the daycare, somebody reported to the daycare about the TikTok I made, so now they fired my kids. So now both my kids, so now I have to keep them home and try to get done because the state won't pay for it. Because I have haters.
Probably because you don't work and you're lazy.
Or I don't even know. It's got to be something from this because this has never happened to me before. So if anybody has any advice on what to do, let me know in the comments.
So according to Courtney's own logic, she shouldn't have to work, doesn't plan to work, and yet expects the government to provide disability payments, cash benefits, food assistance, and even childcare support. If this is rage bait, then she's doing an outstanding job at enraging people. Let's be very clear about that. What's also striking is how obsessively she centers her content around this food stamps drama. It's as if she's latched onto a handful of buzzwords and now uses them interchangeably, crafting new stories whenever it suits her. At one point, she claimed that she lost her food stamps because multiple people reported her, arguing that she was no longer financially eligible since she was a content creator and must be earning money from TikTok. In a follow-up video, Courtney claimed she went to Walmart to buy items using her food stamps, which she already had stated were concealed. According to her story, she purchased soda cans using her EBT card and then, for reasons she never clearly explained, poured the soda out in the Walmart parking lot. She said this caused a scene, upset bystanders, and ultimately led to people calling the police on her. The takeaway from the video, she was supposedly almost arrested in a Walmart parking lot.
I was going to Walmart like I do every week. I get food stamps, so I get between 5 and 7 24 packs of like the cheap Walmart brand pop or whatever. The ones that you get 10 cents back for every, can or whatever. And I use my food stamps to buy the pop, and then I go out to the parking lot and I pour them all out. This girl and her husband with their family were next to me in their car, and they freaking called the cops. The cops show up. Get out of the car! 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 As I've got like over 100 freaking Walmart pop cans all around me.
I want a goddamn liter of cola.
And they told me to stop where I was at and put my hands up. They gave me a warning. They say next time they catch me pouring Walmart pop out in the Walmart parking lot, they're going to arrest me.
Go directly to jail.
For welfare fraud. And now I'm going to lose my food stamps.
Once again, the timeline makes no sense. Her benefits were canceled, but somehow still active. She was reported, but still shopping. She was nearly arrested, but walked away. Every video introduces a new escalation while quietly undoing the claims made in the previous one. In yet another upload, Courtney alleged that people also reported her to child support services, resulting in both her and her son's disability checks being cut off. At this point, the stories were piling up so quickly that it became impossible to tell which version of events she wanted people to believe.
Not only has somebody reported me to DHS because I am making money on TikTok, somebody has reported me to disability for me, my husband, and my son, and they have also reported me to child support. So what happens with the child support? So if one of my children's fathers owes me money, it goes down because now I'm making more money than I was?
Correct.
So now I have to do a whole new, child support packet because now I'm making more money than I was 4 months ago. TikTok might be going away in a month. I don't understand why people are hating on me so much. It is ridiculous. So now I have lost my food stamps, my cash assistance. Now I'm losing my disability, my son's disability, my 3-year-old son.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
This will literally be my second month making money on TikTok.
Ironically, this may be the closest she's come to telling the truth. It's entirely possible that she started all of this for clout, only to later realize that there are real-world consequences to loudly broadcasting financial claims online. If people believed she was earning money through TikTok, reporting that income to the relevant agencies wouldn't be shocking at all. And judging by her visibly shocked reactions in these videos, Courtney may finally be realizing that rage bait doesn't stay confined to the internet. Eventually, it catches up with you. What's disturbing is that there are many people across the United States who genuinely believe they can, or should, live off government assistance for their entire lives. Some intentionally avoid working because the moment they start earning, the state may require them to report income, contribute to health care, pay child support, or repay certain benefits. And for people with this mindset, that responsibility is something they actively try to escape. And that appears to be exactly what happened in Courtney's case, at least based on her own telling of events. In her subsequent videos, Courtney began narrating how Social Security was supposedly investigating her situation. She even claimed that officials wanted to verify whether all of her children were biologically hers. Given her long history of exaggeration and outright lies on TikTok, it wouldn't be surprising if social workers had questions about the accuracy of her claims. When someone publicly contradicts themselves as often as Courtney does, scrutiny becomes inevitable.
Got another letter from DHS because whoever has reported me to now DHS, disability, Social Security, IRS, child support, whoever it is that's doing this, is making my life a living hell, okay? Now I have to prove that all 6 of my children are mine. So birth certificate, social security cards, school records, a friend of the court, paperwork.
Even in the middle of this chaos, Courtney did not stop lying to her audience. At one point, she claimed that police had shown up at her house to arrest her. She posted multiple TikToks with dramatic clickbait captions suggesting that officers were knocking on her door and that she was on her way to jail. By this stage, people were questioning absolutely everything she said. On one hand, she insisted that her social benefits had been cut off because she was under investigation. On the other, she would upload videos claiming those same benefits had been reinstated, just at a lower amount. Then suddenly, she'd appear on TikTok alleging that her landlord was evicting her, or that her husband was kicking her out because she no longer had any income. Her TikTok had turned into a full-blown circus. Every other video contradicted the last, and viewers were left trying to piece together a story that simply didn't add up. Recently, though, Courtney appears to be attempting some form of accountability, at least on the surface. She quietly removed her old bio and replaced it with a new one reading, Daily Toxic Battles, Recovery and Mental Health, Mom to 6. It looks like she's trying to rebrand herself now that she's amassed over 500,000 followers on the platform. She's also posted a few videos apologizing for rage-baiting her audience. According to Courtney, she's now in a phase of recovery and wants to show viewers who the real Courtney is. In one of these videos, she admitted that when her first rage-bait post unexpectedly went viral, she didn't stop to think about the consequences. Instead, she kept uploading more extreme content to gain traction and make money. However, she also acknowledged that this behavior led to intense backlash. People hating her, reporting her, and even contacting CPS. That, she claims, is what finally forced her to step back and reflect. According to Courtney, she realized that her actions may have been wrong, and that she could have been taking resources and attention away from children who genuinely needed help.
This is another apology video, so if you don't want to hear me say sorry, once again, you can just scroll. If I have to apologize every single day, if I have to make 20 videos a day to get to everybody, for everybody to see this, to see my apology, I will. When I first started TikTok, which was last September, my plan was not to hurt anybody. I didn't get on this app and my main goal was to hurt anybody, okay? I made one food stamp video. It took off. It got me to over 10,000 followers in less than 24 hours, okay? Then I started monetizing off that video. And it took off. It just went from there, okay? My rage bait was over. Okay, there's rage bait. There's not harmful rage bait, and then there's rage bait that could hurt a lot of people. Okay, I was way up here. I went way beyond any boundary, and I apologize. I am not making any excuse for it. Okay, not only did I hurt a lot of people on the internet, I have hurt creators on this app by using their names in my videos when I had no permission to. I've hurt my kids. I've hurt other innocent kids because people went real life by believing my videos and called CPS. Now, CPS was only called one time, or at least CPS only showed up to my house one time. But that one time was enough, because that is now taking resources away from children that actually need help. That was it. I was done. I haven't posted any rage bait in over 30 days. I am so sorry. If I could go back and redo it all, I would. I just want you all to give me a second chance. That's all I ask. Just give me 10 minutes of your time. Come in my live stream and just sit there for 10 minutes. You don't have to say anything. Try to get to know the real me. That's all I ask. You don't have to like me. I just ask, just give me another chance.
Whether this rebrand is sincere or just another chapter remains to be seen, but the damage from her rage baiting has already been done. For the past couple of months, Courtney has posted multiple videos like this, attempting to explain herself and walk back her past behavior, but the internet is not ready to forgive her yet. She's even mentioned in her TikToks that although she's stopped being a rage bait creator, people continue to criticize and hate on her. And honestly, that reaction shouldn't surprise anyone. When you spread months dragging innocent creators into the mud, spreading blatant misinformation, and saying some of the most offensive things imaginable online, it's not easy for people to suddenly believe that you're genuinely remorseful. For many viewers, the damage she caused is already done. Apologies don't automatically erase the harm, especially when that harm was repeated, intentional, and publicly monetized. A large portion of her audience also believes that this sudden shift in tone isn't about growth, it's about rebranding. After months of rage baiting, Courtney now appears to want support for what she calls her smile journey. And by now most viewers have probably noticed that her teeth are in poor condition. In one of her videos, she explained that she previously struggled with addiction, which caused her upper teeth to deteriorate and eventually fall out. She revealed that she had applied to a smile makeover program but wasn't selected. Shortly after, she uploaded a bitter video accusing the organizers of mismanagement and unfairness, while she repeatedly insisted that she wasn't speaking about herself specifically and claimed she was more upset for other applicants who deserved it more. Many viewers didn't buy that explanation. To them, it came across as sour grapes.
This is my official submission video for the smile makeover that Hannah Banana, Dr. Frankania, and Ponce Dental Studio is doing at the end of this year. I am 35 years old and my teeth started rotting out of my face about 7 years ago. I have struggled with mental health my whole life and I have struggled with addiction. I also have 6 beautiful babies. A lack of oral hygiene, my drug addiction, and my struggle with mental health has brought me here. I can't brush my teeth without my gums bleeding. I can't eat most things because I have so many exposed nerves. Everything is painful. I can't go to bed at night without popping 3 Tylenols because of the pain. I have no health insurance. This will change my life in more ways than I could ever put into words. I have an anxiety attack every time I have to walk out this door and show my face. This mirror is my absolute worst enemy. I can't stand to look at myself. I can't take pictures with my kids. My kids can't introduce me to their friends without being embarrassed. I am begging you to please help me. Please help me change my life. Please, I've been sober for 8 years now. And I think it's time I get a second chance at life. If you've made it this far, thank you.
Listen, I'm not going to apologize for stating how I feel about this whole smile makeover, okay? Everybody is entitled to their opinion, okay? You may call me a sore loser, being petty, childish, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not even upset about me not getting the top 25. I knew I wasn't going to make it to the top 25. But there are girls that entered that literally have bleeding gums, bleeding, swollen gums, bones of teeth stuck inside their gums. No dentures, no snap-on veneers, nothing. that poured their heart and soul into these submission videos, followed all the rules, okay, and weren't included in the top 25, weren't considered. That's what I'm upset about. I'm upset that people that have already raised money for their dental work, $3,000 worth, were considered. I'm upset that people that already have top and bottom dentures, their teeth are fine, were considered. I'm upset that people that really just need some whitening were considered. And I'm also upset that nobody over the age of 40 was considered in the top 20. Okay, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I think it's wrong the way it was handled. This whole thing was very disorganized from the very beginning. I'm not going to apologize for it. You can hate me, you can like me, but there are girls that entered that really deserve this. And that's who I'm advocating for. I'm speaking for them.
After being rejected from the Smile Makeover program, Courtney shifted her approach. She turned to her followers directly, asking them to support her financially. According to her, if each follower sent just $1 via Cash App, she could finally begin her smile journey. She even went as far as tagging Mr. Beast and encouraging viewers to ask him to help fund her dental work.
You're crazy. I wonder what would happen if you say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave.
At this point, her desperation is painfully obvious, but the bigger question remains. How does she expect people to support her now after she spent so long manipulating and enraging them on purpose? You can't build trust by rage baiting and then suddenly ask for compassion and money when it suits you. If Courtney genuinely wanted support, she could have chosen honesty from the beginning, sharing her real struggles, her real life, and allowing an audience to grow organically. Instead, it's only been a matter of weeks since she started apologizing, and now she expects people to forget months of chaos and open their wallets to fund her personal journey. That's not accountability, that's entitlement. And remember when we said that people are not exactly done with her online? That wasn't an exaggeration. Viewers haven't forgotten how Courtney tried to discredit other creators through her videos, dragging them into controversy for attention. Eventually, that behavior triggered what can only be described as full revenge mode from parts of the internet. One creator in particular, Nicole Boymom, decided to dig into Courtney's past, and what she uncovered shocked a lot of people. According to information shared publicly by this creator, Courtney's father is a registered sex offender. While that revelation alone is disturbing, what truly pushed people over the edge was what came next. Viewers began looking through Courtney's old Facebook posts and found photos allegedly showing her father casually spending time around her children. Pictures of him being present around them, interacting normally as if there were no concerns at all. To many people watching this unfold, this wasn't just about rage bait anymore. It painted a picture of someone who, at best, showed alarming judgment as a parent. At that point, a lot of viewers felt that while rage baiting, lying, and online manipulation are awful, this crossed an entirely different line. People were no longer just angry, they were genuinely horrified that she would allow a registered sex offender to be around her children. That discovery changed the entire conversation around Courtney overnight. Nicole later shared a clipping from an old article, which stated the following. Michael L. 39 pleaded no contest to 2 counts of second-degree criminal conduct involving a victim at least 13 years of age but under 16 between June and September at Millington Township. A pre-sentence investigation was ordered and bond was continued for $5,000. Sentencing is to be set. Reading that alone is sickening. The most heartbreaking and disturbing part is the age of the victim, just 13 years old. And naturally, people began asking the same question over and over again. How could Courtney allow this man anywhere near her children? For many viewers, there were only 2 possible explanations. Either she genuinely believes that her father never committed these crimes, or she knows what he did and simply doesn't care. Neither option reflects well on her. Instead, it raises serious concerns about her priorities and judgment as a parent. After this information began circulating widely, people started confronting Courtney directly. She went live multiple times to address the accusations. According to her, her father had paid his dues, and therefore, in her eyes, the situation was supposedly resolved. But that explanation only raised more questions.
Already bringing back the personal matters. Like they think I'm going to deny it. I mean, it's my dad. It's not me. He paid his dues. Okay, that was 20 years ago? 20 years ago? But it has nothing to do with me. Besides, he's my father, and he's a great father.
He paid his dues. I'm sorry, but registered offenders never pay their dues. Their dues would be for it to happen to them. Their dues would be for them to pass away. Other things, sure, you could pay your dues and now we can accept you back into society or back into the family, but not this. This is something that cannot be forgiven.
What does paid his dues even mean in this context? If someone has been convicted of sexual crimes involving a minor, there's no amount of time or punishment that erases the harm done to the victim. There's no repayment that makes such persons suddenly safe to be around children. And yet Courtney appeared comfortable, suggesting that because time had passed, her father should be accepted back into normal life, including access to young kids. That alone deeply disturbed viewers. Another creator, Jessica Bailey, later reached out to Courtney during one of her live streams in an attempt to get her to directly address the situation in a clearer, more accountable way. During that exchange, Courtney made statements that left many people with the impression that she either believes her father is innocent or is unwilling to publicly acknowledge what he did out of fear of backlash.
Who's they? I knew this was going to happen. Jessica, who's they? Is it just one person?
You already know I'm not snitching on Nicole.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's obviously, it's out there. I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to happen like this. Okay. I was 16 years old. Okay. Actually, I might have been even younger when this happened. Okay. I don't know exactly what happened. I was a child. So I don't know if it really happened. I just know he did some jail time. I just know he got put on a list. And now we are still, us kids, like me and my siblings, are suffering more than my dad, I think, ever did. Okay, we're the ones that are having to.
Her dad was arrested. The charge says 2007. So if she was 16 in 2007, that means she's younger than me by a few years because I turned 18 in 2005. But I digress. I notice how you've had all this time. You could have looked up your dad's charges by now and find out what he did if your family didn't want to inform you.
After watching the clip, many came away convinced that Courtney was being deliberately evasive. She didn't firmly condemn the crimes. She didn't center the victim. In fact, she even suggested that she didn't know whether the abuse had truly happened. That response alone speaks volumes. Even if Courtney was underage when these events occurred, she's an adult now. She had the opportunity to speak the truth, acknowledge the harm done, and take steps to protect her own children. The fact that she has never once publicly acknowledged the 13-year-old victim or expressed concern for child safety has only fueled people's outrage. At the end of the day, Courtney's story is a perfect example of how destructive rage bait culture has become online. Rage bait doesn't exist in a vacuum. It doesn't just create comments and views. It creates misinformation, harassment, real-world consequences, and long-lasting harm. When creators intentionally provoke outrage for profit, they lose control of where that outrage goes. And as we've seen in Courtney's case, once the internet turns on you, there is no off switch. In our opinion, rage baiting is one of the most irresponsible content strategies on social media. It rewards dishonesty, amplifies the loudest and most offensive voices, and punishes nuance and truth. Courtney didn't just rage bait in abstract ways, she dragged real people into her stories, spread serious allegations, and normalized saying anything for attention. Whether or not she regrets it now, the damage has already been done. And then there's this situation involving her father. This is where things go beyond internet drama and become deeply disturbing. Regardless of how Courtney personally feels, allowing someone with that history around children is not something that can be brushed off with the "he paid his dues." The lack of accountability, the refusal to center the victim, and the defensiveness surrounding the issue are, in our opinion, the most alarming parts of this entire story. So now we want to hear from you. What do you think about Courtney and her rebrand? Do you believe she's genuinely sorry, or just pivoting because rage bait stopped working? Do you think people who repeatedly spread misinformation and harm others should continue to have a platform? And where do we draw the line between content and real-world responsibility? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future deep dives. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.